And I got the POTS. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right. What's going on, Secoya Nation? Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. POTS is what we're talking about today. Quick shout out to Reba on our TikTok family for priming us with this video. We oftentimes take ideas from you guys, so we appreciate the feedback and the requests. So thank you, Reba. So there's nothing that I could find specifically in the German medicine world about POTS specifically. So what I did was I put together some information about tachycardia and something about the adrenals. So quick understanding of POTS. So postural, meaning position, orthostatic, meaning where you are in space, tachycardia, meaning racing heart, and syndrome. Syndrome means they don't know what it is. They just lump it into a syndrome because they don't know what to call it. They don't know how to actually fix it. Kind of like carpal tunnel syndrome and things like that. Good for another video later. At any rate, if you stand up fast and your adrenals cannot respond to the rate at which you're getting up, they don't send a message to your blood vessels to constrict them, which means your heart, as it's pushing blood through your system to try and keep blood in your brain when you stand up, it pushes into like a vacuum, a big wide open space, and therefore it doesn't have enough pressure, so your heart has to beat really fast in order to try and get it through that big wide open blood vessel faster. So grossly under-explaining the complexity of it all, but that's a simple way of understanding. So posturing, position, orthostatic, how you change your position, tachycardia syndrome. Okay, so when it comes from a tachycardia standpoint, think about oppression. You're feeling oppression in your space. So limited, like you try to stand up or sit up, and that's the orthostatic, like, oh, I feel dizzy, lightheaded, my heart's pounding, right? It could be something like fear of punishment. So fear of punishment is like the same as the oppression. Like if I pop my head up, whack-a-mole, it puts you back down. So that oppression, that punishment. When you think about if I disappoint them, I might cause them to kill me. That's another phrase in the GNM related to tachycardia. So again, it's about that oppression, it's about that punishment, it's about all these things that could happen if you actually put your head up and stuff like that. The beating heart, it's like the metaphor is that it beats there to remind you you're still alive. So it's for whatever it's worth calling. Now that's the tachycardia that's in the name of it. The adrenal side is what, in my opinion, and what I've seen clinically, is driving POTS more. So if you have like long haul COVID, if you have like chronic Lyme, if you have chronic Epstein-Barr, which is like mono, you're going to have something like POTS because your body is literally so focused on healing your body, it's not going to drive a lot of energy into your adrenals so you can go out and run a marathon or something like that. So when the adrenals come into play, think of it as like, stress, self-sabotage, throwing yourself off course, second-guessing yourself. Those are what adrenals are about. And so there's deeper meaning, but self-evaluation about not being vigorous enough or not being intense enough. That's what the adrenals are about. Because think about the adrenals as like it's a fight or flight, because that's another part of the adrenals. Am I in fight or flight? So if you are fearing oppression or if you're feeling a punishment, you're going to be in that fight or flight stage all day long. So you're constantly going to be frying your adrenals by stressing yourself out. And so having taken a wrong direction in life, so fear of misdirection, fear of I chose the wrong path. We go down a lot of roads with that. We're not going to go there. But having realized also, not just fear of taking the wrong path, but if you get down the path and you're like, oh crap, I made the wrong choice, or wrong, right? That's a judgment. But you decided I wanted to do a different path, or I wish I would have done a different path. So you have this now realization. You've taken a path that's not in your now current desired outcome. So always temper it with who you are now is not who you were a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. If you look back and judge your judgment, if you shame your judgments then, you're going to be shaming yourself now, and that's not conducive to you living your best life. So in the GNM world, it's like I am the substitute, so therefore I have to perform. So it's like, they tap you on the shoulder, you got to get in there, champ, whatever that is. It's like the adrenals are about I'm active, I'm turned on, I'm charged up, I'm active, I'm in there, I got to be ready, right? If you ever had something scary, you're like, boom, like all of a sudden your heart's racing, you're sweating probably, something like that. But it's also about like I'm ready to go. So that's that active mode, that fight or flight mode that your body puts it in. And like ultimately, just think about taking action to conquer a territory. That's another phrase that they use. So I'm trying to remember, did we do hypoglycemia already? I feel like we did. Did we talk? Okay, we'll check back. Check and see if I did a video on hypoglycemia, which is like getting the hangries. I'm pretty sure we did one. I don't know how many weeks ago it was, but that's also going to tie into this, like your adrenals dropping, your blood sugar dropping, and your orthostatic tachycardia and stuff like that. When your blood sugar gets low, your body has to fight harder. So look back for that. Just type in hypoglycemia. Pretty sure you're going to find it. If not, we'll bring it to you soon. So this is information that's going to help you understand if you have POTS or if you've been labeled with POTS, because it's like in vogue right now. Everybody's getting labeled POTS. Like, you know, and this was telling me about a 13-year-old who's a fit person, but they're just telling her, oh, don't worry, you'll just grow out of it. You know, I mean, we could take a moment to dissect her life and say, words or stress. The expectations they have put on kids these days, it's just oppressive as far as what the expectations are in school and playing 2 or 3 sports at a time. It's crazy stuff. So people are overworking themselves. I would encourage you all to do less. Like, figure out what you want to do in your day and say, I'm going to do 80% of it, because it's a breakneck pace out there. Life is way too intense. Like, you got to slow it down. You got to back it off. I mean, I'm driven myself, but people are just going nuts out here. So do less, okay? You can do more by doing less, as a matter of fact. So
Someone asked where we're located.
We're in Woodbury, Minnesota. And if you are not geographically fit for us and you want to work as a remote participant, feel free to give the clinic a call at 651-738-7800, 651-738-7800. Anissa, Emma, Christina, Blake, not Blake, Blake's on maternity leave, Curtis, team is ready to help you. Just give them a call and let them know what you're dealing with, and we'll figure out if we're right fit for you, because we want to help you live your best life. Okay?
We'll let Ben know that we'll talk about sarcoidosis at another time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate the tip. We'll look at sarcoidosis in a hot minute here. Okay? All right. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Sign up for the newsletter or just subscribe to the channel so you guys can get all the brain-body connections. So we try to bring you that German New Medicine perspective, that brain-body connection, so you can live your best life and get rid of the limitations and actually get back to living. All right, guys? Have a good night. Bye.